Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Todd Gotchis with Colorado Local, and we are here with Natalie Fox. She's a local realtor here in the Denver area. And so we wanted to talk to her a little bit about her business and what she's got going, maybe how she can help you find your next home. So Natalie, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. And you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and what you got going on.
Thank you so much. I would love to. As stated, my name is Natalie Fox. I'm a local residential realtor here in the Denver area. I work with the Brian Petrelli team and specialize in helping buyers, sellers, and investors with all their real estate goals. I've been in the business for about 5 years and got my start in 2015 in Ohio as a leasing agent for a property management company. I sold 57 apartments in 6 months, so I figured I could sell some houses. So
Wow.
I went to school full time while I was working full time to get my real estate certification. Got that in the end of 2015 and have just been on the ground running. I really love working with my clients to help them solve all their real estate goals. And I'm creative and I love working with other people and feel like I do a good job balancing everyone's personalities and different needs and ways of communication and working together. And got a really great administrative and a lending team on my side to help with everyone's goals.
So you're basically like a one-stop shop for, I mean, you have lenders and everything all lined up.
Absolutely, because I know that this is um, a challenging and sometimes overwhelming task for someone to go through a real estate transaction, especially if it's their first time. So anything I can do to make it easier and help people just have a more seamless experience that has the least amount of hassle possible is always something I strive for.
Sure, that makes it a lot less stressful when you have somebody like you on your side. Now, you said you
Mhm.
moved here from Ohio, and how long have you been in Denver?
I've been in Denver since the beginning of 2019. I've been visiting here for about 10 years and I fell in love with the state the first time I came here, fell in love with the area as well, and was spending so much time traveling here that I figured I might as well just move here.
Might
So
as
I spent
well.
a yeah, it's a better choice. And so I spent a lot of last year really familiarizing myself with the city to be able to better serve my real estate clients and have a really good grasp of what's going on in the market and different housing styles, commute times, things like that. All pertinent information that it's really important for me to have.
Yeah, that sounds like you're really well prepared, and I think that's awesome. What areas
Mhm.
of Denver are you in, or what area do you service? And do you do commercial, or are you strictly residential?
So I do not do commercial real estate, and the reason for that is because I love helping families, and especially when people are starting their families. I have maybe between 5 and 7 groups of friends who have helped purchase their first home, and then they've gotten engaged, had their first baby, got married, and they've all told me that it's because I've helped them find the foundation to really start their home life together. So that makes me feel really good. And I don't get that kind of feeling from working in commercial real estate. You just don't get those warm fuzzies.
Right, no
So
doubt.
no, yeah, so I don't do commercial, but I do have resources available if someone does need a commercial realtor. I'd be happy to connect.
Okay, cool. And then as far as what areas you service, are you Denver Metro? Are you anywhere in Colorado, or how does that really work?
Yeah, Denver Metro. I live on the southwest side of town. And for listings, I try to keep it within an hour drive of my home. And buyers, I try to keep it within a 45-minute drive of my home. I'm definitely always open to having a conversation and making sure that everything is a good fit for both my clients and myself. I always do an introductory buyer or seller consultation just to set expectations and on both sides and to really help make sure everyone is on the same page and understanding what is to come next. And I think that's always really important is just to ease people's anxieties, is to just make sure that they know what's coming next. So pre-education before we start the process, and then education every step of the way. Here's what's going to happen next. These are the reasons why we're doing these things. And if you're very clear and transparent with your clients, then I have found that everyone is much happier throughout the whole transaction and the whole searching process.
Sure. Well, that makes a lot of sense if you can take the mystery out of what's going to happen. I think that's something that a lot of realtors probably don't do, and is probably very helpful to you and your clients. So I think that's great that you go that extra effort.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you. You say within about an hour of your home, as far as listings and things. Let's say you found a place as a buyer and you wanted to start the process. What's normally the turnaround time as far as when you start? You submit an offer to closing. What does that usually look like?
So it's about 30 days. So the first step that I always take, so say you and I are going out to look at a home for you to buy and you love it and you're ready to buy the house. I'm going to part ways with you after we view the home and say, hey, I'm going to go back to my office and I'm going to write up this offer for you. We do e-signature documents, so that's really nice and easy. I'm going to go prepare the e-signature documents to send them to you, and then we'll submit our offer. So on my way, I'm going to always safely with Bluetooth to talk on the phone to drive. I'm going to call the listing agent who's working with the seller, and I'm going to start a very friendly, cordial conversation. And usually by telling them a joke, asking them how their day is going, just to really set the tone of the whole conversation to be a positive one. And every time I've done that, and I learned that in my certified negotiations expert designation class. Every time I've ever done that, my transactions have gone way more smoothly. My offers have gotten accepted much more rapidly, and both the buyers and the sellers and the other agent and I all have a much better time. So that's the first step. So I get the conversation going in a friendly and cordial manner. Let them know that I've got this great buyer who's ready to take ownership of the home, and that I'm on my way to craft the offer to send over to them. So, I will send that over, and of course, the buyer has already been you've already been pre-approved before we start looking, because that's a really important first step
So
to
not to
the home
interrupt. So
buying
do you
process.
help them with that whole pre-approval process then as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. So our lender helps them get pre-approved, runs all the different scenarios and options, and gives them different loan products, which is why it's really important to go to a mortgage loan officer and not the bank, because the bank doesn't really have a lot of loan products to offer because they're offering other services. Whereas a mortgage loan officer, they only do mortgages. So they have more products to offer, they have more tools available, they have simulators where they can calculate, say you needed to pay down a certain dollar amount of debt in order to be approved to get your debt to income ratio correct for the loan. They'll tell you, pay this exact dollar amount and then call me when it's done, and then we'll be able to go from there. Whereas a bank doesn't really take that much time because they don't have those tools available to them.
Sure. And like you said, they're doing other things. They're not just focused on mortgage. So that
Right,
seems like a
right.
better
So
option.
yeah, absolutely. So after we've get the offer accepted, because I've put in the work with the other agent to make sure that they know that they'll be working with a professional and a competent and a cooperative agent on the other side, we usually give about 48 hours for the seller to accept the offer, and then at that point they'll either accept it or counter the offer, and then I get with my clients, talk with them about that, and then we go from there. If it's accepted, obviously, we move forward. We order the appraisal, and then the inspection period begins as well. And then, all in all, the total, to answer your question, is about 30 days. And it depends on flexibility. I always tell my buyers, especially if they're a first time buyer and they're working towards buying their first home and they have some flexibility in their moving timeline, say they live with their folks just trying to save some money, they don't have to be out by any certain time. And sometimes that's a negotiation tool that is really important to sellers, because perhaps the seller is getting their next home built and their construction deadline may have gotten pushed back by a week or 2 weeks, and they just need a little bit of extra time to close. If my buyers can have that flexibility, that often goes a lot longer, or excuse me, goes a lot farther than than, say paying an extra $5,000. Maybe the seller just doesn't want to pack up their stuff and move into a hotel for 2 weeks. Maybe they don't want to do storage. Maybe they just don't want to do that. So if there's a buyer who has the ability to close a little bit later or to be a little bit more flexible, that's been really helpful in my experience. So I always try to find out, ask some good questions. Does the seller need to be out by a certain time? Do they need an extended close? Are they moving to a new home? Or what's their plan? Just so we can know and have the conversation and keep those lines of communication open and keep the flexibility as great as possible.
Well, it sounds like you really go above and beyond for your clients and try to make it as painless as possible. And I think that's really awesome because I don't feel like a lot of not only realtors but a lot of business people in general don't really spend that much time trying to be such a resource for their clients. So I think that's great.
I appreciate that. It's absolutely one of my biggest goals.
Well, what I want to do then, Natalie, is I want to take all of your information. I'm going to post your phone number, your website, your contact information below this video. So if anyone is looking to buy a home here in anytime really, they can get in touch with you. So is there anything else you wanted to add before we wrap this up, and then we'll put your information down below the video.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the interview. And I do want to just say that in addition to everything we've talked about, I am a certified negotiations expert, which helps on my buying and selling end. And I'm also a professional
Okay.
property stager. So that really helps my sellers to get their home ready. I call it sort of casting a wide net. It's making your home appealing to the greatest pool of buyers so that anyone can be comfortable there. So that's really been helpful too. Just another tool that I like to have to better service my clients.
No, that's perfect.
And yeah, and I'm looking forward to helping anyone in the Denver metro area with buying, selling, or investing in real estate. And let this fox help you find your den.
All righty, that sounds great. We'll get your information out there, and hopefully we can get your phone ringing. Thank you so much for your time, Natalie. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day, and thanks for supporting Colorado Local.
Definitely.